Hey everybody, this is Brandon. I'm going to do my video post for chapters 15 through 17 in the Contested Issues and Student Affairs class or Critical Issues course. I want to talk about, to start my post, kind of about the language part, which I found to be really, really cool and pertinent to what I do, particularly in the Office of Institutional Diversity and Inclusion. And it was talking about kind of how language shapes your how you view the world and your understanding of the word. And that's something that I talk about all the time with my students when we talk about, racial slurs in particular, when we talk about how other people might use the word as opposed to how people belonging to the African American race would use the word. And I really like the point it brought up in the internalization of language. And it said language can reinforce images in people, which they then internalize as truth to describe them. So, in particular regard to the N word, I always say like, hey guys, while you might try to take the word back or add a different or assign it a different value than what it was originally intended to be, the use of the word still means what it means in the dictionary, and it does indeed reinforce images that people might have of the race as a whole, or how you yourself see yourself in using that term, if that makes any sense. I thought that was really just something that really grabbed me right away when I was thinking about what I do in the Upper Mid Center on a regular basis as far as educating not only members outside of the cultural group, but members inside of the cultural group about language and its impact. Real quick on language still, I want to talk to about like the residence hall and the kind of the politics behind using certain language as student affairs educators as opposed to practitioners, to kind of emphasize and drive home the point that we are still trying to educate students in a different context than the classroom, but still, we're still trying to make sure that we're reaching those learning outcomes, meeting those learning objectives. So this just real quick, I thought that was cool. And how language is symbolic, which is a huge piece of social theory. So we're going to jump ahead to chapter 16. What are the implications of providing special considerations to particular students? And this kind of to me sounds like a no-brainer, and I guess that's because all the schools that I've been to, K through 12 and at UNCW seemingly, we are very, very, very aware that people might have or need special needs or particular considerations in taking tests or getting around campus or navigating the campus culture, etc. And I definitely think that it is an obligation of student affairs educators to make sure that students are getting the accommodations needed to have a high quality of student life. So whether that's making sure that we're ADA compliant in our unions, or whether that's making sure that our hearing impaired or visually impaired students have the resources needed to interact in class participation, include all the assignments, that's definitely on the onus of the university and the student affairs educator to make sure that happens. Then skipping over to chapter 17, talking about the responsibilities and limits of student affairs educators to address mental health issues. I think a lot of coursework that we take, especially theory, talks all about that cognitive development and where students are and how identity shapes how they perceive things and where they are. And given that we know that alcohol has a large presence on college campuses, and we know how alcohol affects mental development, you would think that the university or the academy as a whole would definitely want to pay special attention to these mental health needs that students have. We know that suicide is prevalent not only among white Protestant males, but among our LGBT population. We know that African Americans have a history of mental health issues that are often undocumented, swept under the rug. So knowing this literature in the greater society, I don't understand how we would be ignorant to the fact that these same issues are prevalent on our college campuses. So I just want to talk about, it talks about considering the student as a whole and that holistic student development piece that we talk about a lot in our theory courses, and the collaboration between the counseling services and people like in residence halls and cultural centers and orientation to make sure that we're kind of having that continuum of services for our students so they're not falling through the gaps and that we're communicating about where our students need to be. I just want to quickly reference and shout out Crystal Hollenbaugh in this post, because she has been a lifesaver in helping me deal with some of my students over here in the Upper Mid Center who may have particular mental health needs. And I can speak from firsthand experience how nice it is to kind of have that relationship and that collaboration, that open dialogue going back and forth between our center and the dean of students. So I just wanted to do my video post 5 minutes really flies by really quickly. I hope you guys enjoy. Look forward to seeing you all in class tonight.